guys, what's going on? It's Twintuitive717. I'm back with another video. So today I wanted to share a quick reading with you guys about the masculines because they're really missing the feminines a lot, and I just thought that we would use a variety of decks to send some direct messages for the feminines right now who maybe are in little to no communication with your masculine, but you know, or you can feel that there's inner work being done, especially on your part as well, which is why you can feel their energy seeping in a little bit more. There were a few things that I wanted to touch on. First of all, thank you everyone for supporting my channel. If you haven't subscribed, guys, please go ahead and do so. It supports the channel a lot. And thank you so much for sharing your comments and for your emails, connecting with me for the personal readings. It really does mean a lot, and I am here to support you guys 100%. My channel is a safe space for you guys to share your twin flame journey. I know it's not easy because it's not something that you can really open up to a lot of people about if they don't know what a twin flame is, or if they have not been on the journey themselves or have had the epiphany or experience or awakening itself. So I don't want you guys to beat yourself up too much when you do share it with other people, and sometimes it can put you into that space of confusion or resentment even for your counterpart or yourself sometimes. So sorry to ramble like that, but yeah, I just wanted you guys to know, like, my channel's the real deal. You can come here and talk about twin flames, and the comment section is completely protected for you guys to feel safe doing that. Okay, and also guys, for those of you hitting the notification bells to get the updates on the videos that I post, thank you so very much, because it's kind of like showing me a lot of the regular subscribers in the comments and stuff like that. So it's so nice to kind of get a little bit more up close and personal with you in the comment section. So thank you to those of you who have done that. Okay, so we'll go on and continue with the reading. I wanted to add numerology in a little bit with this reading because aside from astrology, I've been learning a lot about my life path number, and it's just something I've been drawn to, and I'm just going to roll with it because it makes me feel really comfortable and safe to learn about this aspect of myself, and I hope that it comes through in the cards a little bit so I can share a little bit about the numbers from 1 to 10 with you guys and let you all know how that plays a significance in your connection, okay? So without further ado, I'm just going to go ahead and dive right into the Sacred Rebels deck. And I just want to know what's on the masculine's mind right now in terms of like working on the connection itself, like the communication with the feminine, what they would like to really get a grip on and move forward with. Okay, so we have what is already with you, which is a number 8 card. It's a 17, but it boils down to the number 8, which talks about advancement, and the 8 energy itself is about personal power. So I feel like maybe the masculine's learning a bit of bringing this connection together. It's going to take a little bit of personal power in terms of like standing up to people or even speaking your truth to people who might think it's weird, or your connection to the feminine is very unorthodox because maybe you're already in a relationship or you don't really know the feminine all that well. It's just kind of like that love at first sight thing, but we are all wanting and seeking out this really safe place to kind of like talk about the connection again. We have 7 coming up, and the 7 itself is about awakening. And I think that this card was pulled in the previous reading as well because the masculines are getting very, very clear signs that the connection with the feminine is supposed to teach him and like carry him forward in his spirituality, because a lot of us are here on Earth and we're starting to pick up and realize, like, aside from the twin flame journey, many of us are starting to realize, like, with a lot of the changes happening worldwide, especially around artificial intelligence and technology, we're being forced out of the rat race. So whether we like it or not, our daily lives are not looking the same anymore. Many of us don't want to just get up and go to work from 9 to 5 anymore. We want to live out our passions, our goals, our dreams, and technology is making this easier for a lot of us to do, okay? So right now I feel like the masculines are really focused on bringing this connection together with the feminine, and they're letting go of a lot of the fear and worry that comes along with doing that. In past readings also, I've mentioned the energy of like both counterparts kind of stepping out into the open eye, so all eyes on them, and kind of realizing that they're not going to get in trouble from anyone for pursuing their twin flame or for being curious about connecting with their twin flames. And it's kind of like this breath of fresh air, or this really good feeling of empowerment to realize that we all have the strength within us to, really carry out the legacy of light that we were meant to carry out, following our purpose and our mission by connecting to our twins, because we're certain that there's something about this person that's meant to teach us, or they have some kind of significance in our life in some way. A lot of you are becoming very brave about this now, okay? Like, even though you might have circumstances that make you, or kind of like force you to keep the connection a secret, all of that is like coming down right now. It's like a big tower falling down. I'm just guided to use the major arcanas only in the classic Rider-Waite Tarot deck. I just want to kind of like clarify that message there, because I really feel like the masculines are doing a lot of work, and because like the feminine is like nowhere to be seen because she's off taking her own space. I think that she's kind of like been through enough in the connection with the ghosting, the back and forth, and like it's been like a negative experience where she's just kind of like, remember I was talking about that energy of like disgusted with the journey, disgusted with herself for wasting her time. Like all of these negative emotions are purging out of her because it's pushing the masculines now into high gear, because you two can feel each other energetically, and when it's like a mirror effect. So when the feminine feels like very like, okay, I need to move on from this, or I need to make sense of my life, or I need to go within a little bit and take care of myself, the masculine gets mirrored to do the same, in terms of like, okay, I've just pushed away someone who deeply cares for me, and why is that happening, right? Okay, I'm just gonna go with the High Priestess. Okay, so I feel like the High Priestess card is coming out as the number 2, the energy of the number 2 here, the charmer, the kind of like the peacemaker, someone who is really easygoing and kind of carefree, and kind of focused on their life purpose. And this has been the energy of the feminine for a long time. Like she's been living life through her own opinion, her own inner voice, and it's really caused a lot of separation between her and the masculine, a lot of conflict, because I think what happened was when they started communicating in the beginning, many of your masculines kind of like threw you off. Like they communicated with you just like they would communicate with any regular chick, and I think that the feminines were like, whoa, 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 you need to step back and you need to sit down. And I think like it caused the masculine to go running, and then in turn it kind of like made the feminine go, huh? And she kind of had to reflect on her own presence, her own way of appearing to other people. And I think that many of you feminines out there realize, like, just by connecting with your masculine, how masculine you are yourselves. And that's where this great balance is taking place, because now we are kind of like pushing the masculine into the High Priestess energy a little bit with like our persona, like the way we carry ourselves, not being afraid to be in the masculine energy or be in the feminine energy, because for many of us, we kind of realize by now that that was the balance that was taking place, right? So now kind of like here comes the masculine with this High Priestess energy about realizing like, wait a second, I can't just go along living my life based on everybody else's opinion, because that makes me look kind of weak, Like I thought it was good, like I thought I had it going by following this way that society can kind of like set things up in this programmed way where it's like you got to chase after money and like fame and status and some kind of like power in order to be like really impressive and stuff like that. And now when he's getting into the High Priestess energy, he's realizing like, damn, this isn't me at all. Like that's not my personality at all. And it's done nothing but turn the feminine off in terms of how I'm trying to like approach her. And all this whole time, she's kind of like shaking him by the lapel going, I'm not this kind of like female, like stop with your antics, dude. You know what I mean? Like, and now he's just kind of like in this deep place of like contemplation. And I think like with the High Priestess just kind of like sitting there, they're really, really having to think now about the connection deeply. What are some things coming up while they're like in this heavy mode of contemplation? Like, what are they thinking about the feminine? We have our imagination card coming up again from the last reading, and I'm going to keep it because I think like they are in this space of like, okay, when your inner voice comes into play, which is the high priestess, and like living life from your own stance, having your own opinion about things, it causes them to go back to a place of imagination, right? So they are in love with the feminine because they don't understand like how a connection with someone can make them do such deep inner reflection. Like he's going back to his inner child. He's trying to heal himself in a way that he's like asking himself questions like, why do I behave this way? Why can't I accept love? Why can't I move this on to the next level? Why can't I just stop messaging her and actually pick up the phone and call her and hear her voice? What is in me that's so fearful about meeting up with her and things like that? So it's weird because it's like he really thought like he was confident, but again, that was fitting into the 3D persona of what that is. Like the kind of women he was attracting, it was like he was chasing money and fame and status and stuff like that. And then that's all these women were attracted to. So it's really like exhausting after a while when you start realizing like you can't just kind of like sit at home and relax and be yourself, because now you've attracted into your life someone who is chasing those very same things, right? And many of the divine masculines do understand at some level that they are divine, that there is some sort of spiritual purpose here. And usually when they meet the feminine, it kind of gets amped up. So that's where I feel like this imagination comes in, like taking him back to his inner child again and just kind of like asking himself like, okay, what do I want to do? What do I want to be? I need to heal myself, and I need to heal the things that other people have done, including like family members and like friends from like when he was younger, and even growing up, being a teenager, being a young man, the people who have kind of like betrayed him or slighted him or clowned him and stuff like that. These are just not people that he wants to be around. And now he's in a place of imagining, okay, what is life going to be like for me when I really try to, think about what I want? And he's having to let go of his pride, because when he thinks about what he wants, it's communicating with the feminine, having a life with her, being with her. I put this up in the background, I Can't Sleep Without You, because I feel like he's experiencing a lot of like having to let that pride go, because what else are you going to do when the one person that can bring a lot of like relief to that inner turmoil that you're going through, or at least provide a space for you to open up and talk about it? It's really kind of like breaking through that pride that he's had with him for a long time. But I think with the imagination and the High Priestess card coming in here, and like even the past cards from like the Legacy of Light and What's Already With You, it's like not as bad anymore to go to this place where he kind of feels a lot of like regret and shame and embarrassment for the way he's acted. Because it's like what I get is somehow he kind of is getting the wisdom that she knows, like she understands the journey that you both are on. Don't be embarrassed, don't be ashamed, don't be afraid to approach her, kind of thing, because she's going to be gentle with you, right? And I think that would kind of like speak volumes about the success in communication, or it's coming, like he's moving towards the connection because that's how he feels. Like I think that fear is still there in the way for him, but I feel like he's moving past that, and these are the things that he's trying to work on in order to bring things together with the divine feminine. But overall, like many of us understand, like even though we might be like angry with our counterparts, or we might be mad at them for like the distance and stuff like that, it's like the minute they come forward, you do get a lot of what they've been going through. And sometimes they don't even have to say a lot in conversation, or you might feel like, okay, we didn't really actually talk about anything, but you felt a lot of purging, or you felt a lot of release in the words that were spoken once you guys communicate again, right? I'm going to end off this reading by going through the tarot of sexual magic and just let you know like how he feels about you, like in terms of like passion right now, and like what's standing in the way of him coming forward and speaking that passion to you. like, what's on his mind? Like, he can't let you know, but, like, what's on his mind in terms of, like, intimacy and stuff like that. Okay, so I want to start with the 1, just because the 1 energy itself is kind of like striving forward and being ambitious and forceful and like using your willpower. And it's Ace of Wands as well. So Wands itself is like asking us what kind of makes you tick, you know, and I think that he's in that space of understanding that it's like, wow, the feminine makes me tick, like in all areas of my life. If she's not around, then he feels this kind of like emptiness within him. Like at work, it's kind of like boring or mundane, or he seems kind of like confused or not focused on like the tasks at work. But if him and the feminine are good and they're in communication, it's like he feels very like vibrant at work. Or the Wands energy itself too talks about like business and like career goals and stuff like that, right? So she makes him feel like really energetic when it comes to achieving those things, and even so much to the point where it's like he really does kind of like want a family with her at this point. My last reading touched on that, where he's talking about wanting a home with her and wanting a family and really believing that he deserves that lifestyle, or that he, in his mind, he sees it as an illusion when, you know, really and truly, guys, like everyone's deserving of a happy home, a happy life, right? The 5 of Chalices is coming in here with a lot of emotional energy at this time. And I think that's what happens when he thinks about her from an emotional space. But the 5 energy itself is all about, like, just be yourself. And if you look, he's, like, offering his bag, his leaf, everything he's got. And masculine's like, just be yourself. Your emotional connection with her is enough when it comes to the twin flame connection. And I think that it's time to kind of start dismissing a lot of the illusions and a lot of the fears that you've experienced in other relationships. Like, it's all behind you now. If you guys, I always see in this card, like, the image of the woman in the water there. Sorry, I had to look at my nails. And to me, it kind of represents, like, you know, it's in the past now, like, it's drowned out. Don't worry about it. It's safe to make an offer to someone that challenges you, but in a positive way. Surrender yourself a little bit here. You know, because the negative sides as well of like the 5 is being non-committal. But I think in this case, a lot of that is being challenged for him. Another thing I noticed too here is like with the full cups and like the jewelry and all of that stuff, these masculines have a lot to offer in terms of like abundance. But in the past, when they've done that, they've been like really, really like taken advantage of and like used. And when they didn't have the finances, it was a problem. And that creates a lot of pressure on like the male energy itself. We've got the 6 here coming in here about lessons, okay? And this is what he's experienced in the past from being like very weak-willed against like women who are just kind of like after his fruits of labor. And I think the Pentacle energy itself is talking about the physical world, being a builder and building what it is you desire and want to see. And I think that this time around, he's just really had it with this type of connection with these types of females, and that's what's sinking in the connection even more with his twin flame. Like, even if your masculine has been in a marriage for a really long time, or like he's been with like a common law spouse for a really long time, because of his connection with the feminine, it's like a lot of this negative energy from others is being recognized a lot more easily. We've had the 6 of Wands coming up again, so 2 6s in the reading. So a lot of energy, again, around like lessons and having a compromise. The 6 itself represents nurturing and depth and having to be honest as well. And I think that, you know, he's in this place of really having to do this now. And it's really uncomfortable, especially, I get the sense, like, if they're married, it's really uncomfortable to have to share this secret about who it is they truly desire and want. Many of your masculines who have been in marriages for like a long time kind of feel like, okay, I'm just going to continue having, you know, the connection with my twin and then staying in my marriage because I'm too old to go through the divorce process, or I'm too old to go through this whole big change, right? But what we're all realizing is, like, you know, it's never too late, because we have to kind of get out of our thoughts. We got swords energy, the 9 of swords ending off this reading. Okay? Because decisions need to be made, doubts need to be dissolved. And we're never too old to create situations for ourselves that are more empowering and fulfilling and healthy, right? Because they do feel very passionate towards each other. And I think that with the cat there's a lot of synchronicities that are guiding this connection. And the passion for each other, it's not going to die down. Like if you guys are waiting until you get older to kind of like make this more of a friendly connection, like the passion only grows over time, like fine wine. You know, it ages really well. And the thing about twins is like once they connect and they start doing a lot of like their mission work and they start feeling really good and connected to their partner no matter what the circumstances are, it brings back a lot of your youth. So by the time you turn like 50, you look like you're just entering your 20s kind of thing. And like this is the gifts of what the twin flame connection does for the two, because the 9 energy talks about, just that wisdom and spiritual mission. And sometimes the negative sides of that can be lethargy and you can't focus. So if a lot of you are feeling like the downsides of that energy, then it's time to really commit to the twin flame journey in a way that makes sense to you and going after what it is you want. Okay, I hope this reading finds you guys well. I will catch you in the next one.